The theory of evolution of humankind. Multiple theories are there. One of them, let's go back in time, discuss how we evolved, where we are till now, from nothing to the best possible solution of humankind. Maybe there is another thing coming up in the future, but how we came here from zero, or in fact from nothing, approximately, let's have a time calculation of 4 billion years ago. 4 billion years ago. Where were we? We were nothing. What was this planet? It was nothing. It was just a globe of gases. Small globe over the universe, inside the whole universe. This planet Earth that we see as a big thing, it is nothing. It was a composure and a congested globe of gases. The environment was not at all beneficial for a living life. It was totally hostile. Everywhere there was flames, gases, and immense pressure of those gases that no one can exist, not even a life can exist, nothing. Over the course of period, what happened? We only can assume, and some researchers and scientists have just assumed this theory that we're discussing, and we'll be discussing a lot more theories as well in the upcoming podcasts. One theory is that the gases started congesting. As soon as started congesting and condensed, there was immense pressure. And when the pressure is there, obviously something burst out. And when things got busted out, what happened? The environment got blasted. There were so many inside pressure and lightning, gas combustion, just like you see on the sun. Small events like atom bomb. They were produced on the earth, and those eventually gave a life. How? Still not. Don't be fast to see yourself in the living form. Still, we were not there. Still, 4 billion years ago, what happened? The environment was a bit calmed down. And then, obviously, nothing could happen without water. Until that time, there was no water. As soon as the gases started calming down, they started to make water on the surface of this planet. Still, we are not there. Once the water was there was the environment for living form. Still, no chance of us. We were still struggling to come by in the form of life. There was no life on this planet. So then what? Inside the water, they were starting some genetic forms. Why? Because of environmental changes. It was not intentional because we are talking about theories, not religion. So it was not intentional. Remember to differentiate between religion and science. So it was not intentional. The environment compressed, and there was first genetic form or genetic formula combined and created inside the waters, not on the surface of earth, inside the waters. It's just genetic combination. Then furthermore, those small genetic combinations, and if you understand the genetic combinations, you can't see them, they're so small. With the naked eye, you can't see them. You can't even see a cell. How can you see a genetic combination? Those are still inside the water. And that means you and me nowhere nearby there. Still, we are struggling. Now, the struggle is that these genetic combinations starting getting more complex. Initially, there were very few molecules or amino acids or in the form of nucleotides, you can say. They were very small bodies you can't see, and they started combining in different combinations. As soon as they started combining different combinations, they grow a little bit complex, giving the form of a cell. That is when 3.5 billion years ago, first cell came into existence. Still, that is not like a regular cell that we are aware of now of this body. That is just a combination of small nucleotides surviving and struggling inside the waters. And those waters were different. Side by side, as we were evolving, there were other cell forms created similar to us. And as time goes on, over the period of 500 million years ago, not ago, after that, so 300 million years ago, 350 million years ago, what happened? The cells that were created, they started making complex form, means they started growing, and then they started multiplying equally as same, no complexity, no differentiation. So if one cell is there, the other cell was divided exactly the same, still there is no growth. So we were creating different form of cells. That's all we were till 350 million years ago. Within waters, we haven't seen the sunshine, we haven't seen the earth yet. Now the one cell has to survive, grow more. So what we decided, in the form of one cell at that time, we decided we have to grow. Now we started attaching more cells to each other. So one cell attached to another cell. Before that, we were dividing the cell. Now we were creating cell and attaching to one another. And as soon we started attaching one cell with another, so it became a body, cell body, two cells, another cell, three cells, four cells, and then we started making a irregular shape of cells. That irregular shape of cell was floating inside water. Then there were other form of creatures that were growing, but they developed better than us. Here, you should feel that part. You were never, according to this theory, you were never the brilliant and the best form of life. Initially, there were other forms, they were progressing better than us, even in the waters. They were grown so quickly and developed so quickly that they were able to overcome us because we were in a irregular form. They were able to hunt us down, so we had to survive. To survive that inside water, first, what we did, we trained our outer membrane, outer side. In the form of genetic change, we created some sensation so we can differentiate from light and dark and movements. So when we can differentiate from movements, we can see other species coming to us, so we can save ourselves from them. Then, once we created the sensation on our skin, we started growing further over the period of few 100 million years. So nearly 3 billion years ago, we were in the form of a small fish, growing in terms of our nucleus, in terms of our membranes, in terms of our brain, but in the form of kind of a fish. It's not a proper fish with gills or anything, just a small lump of mass with couple of eyes and ability to float away from our prey, most of the time away from our predators, not from prey, from predators. So these predators were hunting us still, so we have to adopt the law of survival. So we had to run. So don't think still that you were the powerful one from the very beginning. Come down from the mountain and realize that according to this theory, you were rubbish at one point. You were running away, hiding, and still over the period of next 3 billion years, you will be running away from predators. That I will just discuss. What happens after that? Once we started growing, we felt the need that we have to go away from this habitat. How? We tried our best, we couldn't. What we did is we went to the bottom of the ocean. Bottom of the ocean, we couldn't get any sunlight, we didn't had any oxygen. So what happens? We became stagnant at the bottom. Then few of our ancestors, they took the courage. According to the theory, few of our ancestors who were in the form of a lumpy fish, not a proper fish, just a lumpy mass who is able to float, feel some things with some eyes and a small mouth to eat. They took the courage, got out of from the bottoms of the oceans 3 billion years ago. They came on the surface of the ocean. What happens then? They first time saw the surface of the ocean because they were not able to go to the surface first. That is again the survival of the fittest. They came to the surface. First time they breathed oxygen. Now you can see the sensation that you are having this oxygen. First time they had the oxygen, then they saw around them with their eyes the land, the greenery, the food. So they tried going over to the land. That's the first time. But at that time, the body is not adapted to the environment of the lands. So we are in the form of a lumpy fish and with small legs that are used to of water. So initially, to adopt the law of the land, it was very difficult. As soon as we came on top of the road, what happens? Your hands are skinny, less, more skinnier and more delicate than a baby, a new more than even a newborn baby even. You are not able to crawl on the roads or on the surface of the earth at that time. That is very rough. You can imagine. Then the sun, one of your very best friend, sun, he was one of the enemies at that time. Why? Because the scorching heat putting on your skin is going to dry all the water. At that time, you have not developed any mechanism to secure and absorb water in yourself. So all the water, because you're just coming out of the oceans, was evaporating from your skin. Moving force forward, you try to adopt it, but you are growing in size. You are getting the food from the earth, but again you were very happy. You are growing, you evolving, and you become a size of a lizard, a big lizard. You crawling, going forward, evolving. You're very happy. All of a sudden, over the course of 1.5 billion years, you developed a lot. But then you faced the reality. You saw that your biggest nightmare. What happened? You saw the dinosaurs. Then you saw that there were other species. Again, predators on you that were your worst nightmare. You had to run from them. You had to run. What happened? As soon as you were growing, now you will think that from lizard in your mind, you will be thinking as the survival of the fittest and the nature, and we were growing side by side. You will start growing and taking the shape of humans. No, it was opposite. To save ourselves from dinosaurs, we had to take the opposite route again. We had to shrink from the big lizards, and from the shape of a big lizard, we had to shrink and take the size of a rat. Kind of a rat, not exactly rat, but the size of approximate rat. Why? Because we had to shrink to survive, to run away from the dinosaurs and to hide from them. So, side by side, we started developing other senses as well. But that was the positive point. We shrink ourselves the size of a rat, but we started to develop some other senses as sense of sound, eyes, and we can sense before the dinosaurs see us or come to us. So we can save ourselves. In that time frame, if you think that when we were under the immense pressure that we had to run away from the dinosaurs, imagine they were our worst nightmare and they were the enemies. Imagine how much they have grown before that. That means they were so evolved before us that they could have been the next human generation if we were not there. Imagine if we were extinct in somehow, in some form, then they would have been the next intelligent creature on the planet Earth if they were not extinct. And one more thing, there were billions of other creatures developed at the same time when we started developing, but because of the law of survival and different events over the period of time, 99.9% of the creatures were demolished or removed or extinct. So we are the lucky ones. So only 0.1% left. Out of them, there were few still running around the earth, and one of them was dinosaurs. So as we were running away from dinosaurs, there comes the luck. We would call it luck because otherwise we would be extinct and we will not be in this current form. So only justification is luck, because we are talking about scientific theories, not facts. So in science there is no religion, so that means the factor of luck is there now, a scientific process. While we were running away from dinosaurs, there was lava bulging in Antarctic. Under the surface of Antarctic there was huge pile up of fire ignition in the form of lava, and huge pile of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. At that pace, it was so erupted after a few million years ago. It was pumping up there and bulging up there for million of years ago. When it crossed a certain threshold, it came out. And when that level of threshold came out, everything on the planet Earth was removed, extincted, because the dinosaurs were so big they couldn't hide. They were grown over the size of many foots. Even their babies were over the periods over the height of feet. So they cannot hide. So when they cannot hide, one thing and one creature, small creatures like us at that time, very small reptiles, not even the form of mammalians, just reptiles, we saw one exit. The exit was to go inside, means to dig down. We went inside the holes and tried to save ourselves. Some of us survived, but over that, once the period was over, everything was destroyed. There were ashes everywhere. No sunlight was not there because of the ashes and the cloud of ashes. There was nothing left. So we were inside. At that time, a very beautiful event happens. We went underneath. There was no food, no light, nothing to survive. What made us survive at that time? What made us? Can you guess that? Things we don't hesitate to kill today. Ants. Ants have a structure that is very strong to survive approximately any environment or any disaster. Those ants were running around, and when we came out, we had to survive on something. We ate those ants. We survived over the period of few million years. We survived and started adopting. At that time the happy time was there, and we survived, and we started adopting over the period of few hundred million years ago, 150 million years ago, till further onwards 150 million years. We were very happy creatures. We started growing our brain, some part of our brain, and some other senses, so we can grab food, adopt it to our culture. That was that time, it was not culture, means the environment, the surroundings. And then what happens? All of a sudden the nature calls again. Nature strikes. The weather started shifting because of the changes in the sun environment. The whole weather started changing. And then what happens? Everything disastrous. The whole planet on the earth is revisiting, reshuffling again. No food, droughts everywhere. Now what happens? We started adopting like mammalia. Means that time we are jumping from trees to trees and trees and different part of the worlds. We started moving forward just like in the form of, in easy words, monkeys. That's not the monkey form right now, but we started adopting that form. Once we started adopting that form, we realized that we cannot just hang on to trees, because we have to move in away from trees as well to adopt some food. So what we did is we started using our legs. And then once we started using our legs, our arms gone free to grab food. Then we moved to the next parts. And with the evolution, we started doing mutation more and more, and we started growing our size of the brain, reducing the muscles in the neck and the tongue, pushing it downwards, releasing the jaw strength. So our jaws gone weaker over the time. And then our brain was using that power and growing. Once that part was growing, what happens? We are using more intellect. We became social animals. We started working with our peers. Initially, we were running away from our peers. We were in competition with our peers. But eventually, we started to make communities, work together, and became humans, what we call Homo sapiens. now in this form. That was a circle of 4 billion years that we survived from one cell to this form. This is one of the theory that's made us travel from nothing to this form. And in this one, we learned that we were not the most intelligent creature or most evolved creature. We have to understand there were a lot better forms before us, and maybe over few million years ago, or few million years after this time today, there will be another form of us. Maybe if we don't get extinct, there will be another form better than us to survive this planet, or we will be taking some other form with the help of mutation. So both theories are there. We'll see further onwards what we will learn with the help of other theories as well, how we evolved. There are multiple theories. We'll go through multiple theories and learn a lot. Thank you very much. Please subscribe, share, and learn more if you wish to.